Okay, so you're good. All right, I'm live. Bye. Okay, hello. How's it going? Sorry we were late. Welcome. Hey, it is the political spotlight, and just to clarify that phone call there, if you guys are watching me, pay attention to what I'm saying specifically to the people that I was just on the phone with. Hello. Listen, it's so late tomorrow. I was going to tell you tomorrow morning. He called me just about an hour ago. He's going to be over at 4 p.m. tomorrow. That's Thursday. You've got nothing going on tomorrow at 4 p.m. I was going to tell you tomorrow morning. Your appointment the next day is at 10. Okay, housekeeping taken care of. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Political Spotlight. This is the 176th episode. If you are watching via YouTube, we want to ask that you do all of the neat things over there to the side. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. If you would like to consider being a member of the channel to help us out here, you can do that for as less as $1.99, $2 a month. So that's a pretty small contribution. If that's something that you're interested in, you can also do super stickers and all that nonsense. But hey, all that truly matters is that you're here and that you're watching. And our biggest joy is that if you're watching live, you comment right over here in the live comment box. If you're watching on repeat, you comment down here in the comment section below. And above all else, please share the show with everyone you know. That is what is important to us. And the fact that you're watching means you're interested in hearing our take on what's happening locally at the state level. After we get through this election here just in 27 days, then we're going to kick back into talking about some national political news, because we will then be dealing with the big election in November. So that is important. And I do want to let everybody know, if you missed the train on Monday night, Monday was 3 days ago. If you missed the train Monday night, then you had just a smidge extra time on Tuesday until noon to be able to register. But Tuesday's gone. All right. And it's Wednesday, hump day. That means you, for the foreseeable future, will not hear me talk about getting registered. If you did not get registered for this primary, if you did not change your address or fix your last name, if you're married or divorced, then you are SOL. You will not be able to vote in this election. And I'm sorry about it. It is what it is. I hope the majority of you that are hearing this or will hear this were already registered or got registered or took that opportunity. Hey, Brandon actually is somebody that might matter for. But I think we've got a secret plan anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think, well, yeah, he's good to go. So we'll leave it at that and let him do whatever he's planning on doing. In a room. Wait. What was that? In a room where people unanimously maintain a conspiracy of silence, one word or two sounds like a pistol shot. Ooh, hey, I like that. Maybe that could be a shtick that we do here. We start out every evening with a quote of the episode. So we might look at doing that. I really like
I thought you were going in a different track with that. We start out with dead silence, and then we have a pistol shot where Christopher shoots the politician of the night.
All right. Yeah. Yeah,
But
all
the
right.
silence part of that's going to be difficult for you to maintain.
Yeah, right.
That idea shot to shit. But
Yeah.
I thought you were going a different direction with that entirely.
I like it too. That's fine. That's fine. Hey, we are here. I might as well. Charlize is registered. That's good to go. Good to know. And she's good to go. Let me get the comments here. Pull this comment up. And now I can see your comments. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Danny. Hello, Charlize. Jack. I don't know if Jack's here yet. Paula. Alva, of course. Steve. Julie. Catherine. Hello. So, and to all of you that have not commented that are out there watching in secret, hello. So, this same here, registered on the show last year. As a matter of fact, it took me 90 seconds. I love to hear that, Joey. That is really, really, really big. I love hearing that. I tell you, that's the number one thing that I get out of this. The number one thing that I get out of what I do is it does not matter to me, the people who say they enjoy the show. That makes me happy. It does not matter the people who say they hate me and they wish that I was dead in a cornfield someplace. It doesn't. Those things do not bother me. They don't spike the chart one way or another. But the thing that I love more than anything is hearing from the people who call me or run into me or text me or message me, and they say, after 56 years of living, I registered for the first time this year because I started listening to your show. As I used to vote, and then I moved, and I've not voted in 15 years, but because someone turned me on to your show, I now register. Even if someone calls and says, you know what, I registered just so I could vote against every candidate you support, that still makes me happy. I don't care. The fact that people get registered because of the words coming out of my mouth, that, ladies and gentlemen, makes it worthwhile. And that is my most prized thing about what I do and what we do here. And I love that. And I know that Jack is not here, or he would be saying, rah, 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 something like that. So we'll wait till Jack gets in. But since he's not here, I'll tell you how much I love it. And that makes me happy, because at the end of the day, yeah, if none of us voted, and if I could get every single person out there to not vote, well, that would be fantastic too. Because if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. The professor gave us that nice lyric there. Neil Peart, the drummer and lyricist of Rush. And I talk about that a lot. But we're not all going to not vote. So while some of us are voting, then we need to go the other way with it. All of us need to vote. And that way we could take things over. And slowly but surely, specifically here at the local level, it matters. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter at the national level. I know it does at the local level. And I will never believe otherwise. I've been a part of the process, and I've watched it unfold. Yes. Joey, I did get your texts last night. I did get those. Thank you for sending me those texts. I have been following that. And matter of fact, I am going to start looking into that a little further, because there are a couple of things that I find of major interest, and it relates to a bigger level into our state government. So this weekend, when I have the 2 days off, I am going to sit down and dive into everything from front to back. And yes, Brandon, that is true. Apparently James King is getting scared, desperate. I saw he sent his official stamp licker to troll Brand. I didn't see exactly what happened there with what you're referencing. Let me see if I can find out. Let me see if I can go and find out what exactly you're talking about here. Brandon, if you can give us a message or say it in the comments and let me know exactly what you're referring to, because I'm not seeing anything. But I do also, while we're waiting on Brandon to let us know what he's talking about, I do want to comment and say that we were here we go. Brandon appears to have sent it to us. Let's see. I'm going to click on this video here, watching this for the first time. Let me I tell you, yeah, I'm shocked with what the campaign is doing, to be completely honest, and that the whole. I guess we could call it the axis of evil, if you will, for lack of a better term. The whole James King, Bradley Bookout, Jessica Piper, Eugene Whitehead, that whole and hell, I guess I'm going to throw Sherry Riggin in there, even though I technically don't believe she fits with the rest of those people. She's playing this game where she has been sucked into the vortex of the crazy, and now she's doing and saying things that she routinely would not have said in the past, I don't believe, but she is now, and it just to me proves it is time to throw her a bone and say, hey, thank you very much. We're going to let you enjoy your retirement, and we're going to pick up someone who is filled with the spirit of willing to do what's best for the public, and that being, of course, Troy Ingram. So in that race, we're going to vote for Troy Ingram over Sherry Riggin, and then obviously in the James King race, vote for Stephen Brand. But what we're seeing from the axis of evil is just all kinds of desperation right now. Like, for example, Bradley Bookout has more or less been missing in action since a meeting that fell on the 14th of March. There was a redevelopment commission meeting on the 14th of March. And, ironically, that was the same day as the tornadoes. So I don't know if he was sucked off into the sky somewhere or something. I'm not really sure, but he's been, I caught it. I'm waiting for Joey to say it. I'm just going to wait here. Maybe I'll get a giggity. I don't know. Anyhow, as soon as I said it, I got it. So he might, I don't know where he's at, what the deal is, but he's been MIA. No campaigning, no door knocking, no going to events, no signs, and we've really been pushing that. So let me tell you what that campaign has done. They could not stand to hear people pushing them and saying, why are you not campaigning? You are truly, what Counselor Ryan Webb said and what I said and what others said, that he was a paper-only candidate. Bradley Bookout is a paper-only candidate. That's it. No more, no less. He is there on paper so that you can go in and see, oh, wow, Bradley Bookout, he's high at the top of the ballot. Boop, and pick his name. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not pick Bradley Bookout just because of where his name falls at the top of the ballot. Ask yourself, has he been around to my door? Have I heard anything that he stands on? Have I seen him at any events? Did he walk in the parade? Did he go to any of these little, breakfasts at the Lions clubs around the county? No. Do I see any of his signs out? No. Then, ladies and gentlemen, because we pushed these people, the axis of evil, the axis of stupid, the axis of corrupt, because of that, they dug way back in the past, and they were able to dig up a handful, not many, 4, 5, 10 maybe, signs from when Bradley Bookout ran the first time, or maybe the second time, and he put them out. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that I believe these to be old signs? First of all, the campaign finance reports are due very shortly. Matter of fact, for all candidates or all people that are working on teams, I will give you this update in case you don't know. I believe that this Friday is the end of the first finance period, and that your campaign finance reports are due a week from this Friday. So Friday the 12th is the deadline. And then a week from Friday the 12th, which will be Friday the 19th, at noon, the campaign finance forms are ready. And we will easily be able to go on there and tell, did they buy signs? And if they didn't, then my theory will be proven right. And let me show you, friends, why I feel that they are not using new signs. All right, I'm going to show you very easily why I believe that they are not using new signs. Okay, it's really easy to make these determinations. And then I'm going to tell you another issue that I have. All right, I'm going to put this up here right now in the overlays. Right, here we go. All right, there we go. The handful of signs they found, bam, look like this. Bradley Bookout, Delaware County Council. Well, generally, someone only does that if they are already on the council. So I think that this was a sign that was bought once he was on the council and running for re-election. Maybe he didn't run for re-election. Maybe this was just the initial sign, which is horrible. However, this, my friends, is a sign, just as Ryan Webb has said here, that has the Bookout Builders window logo on the sign. Now, for those of you not in Delaware County, or for those of you that are in Delaware County, but you're just now getting into politics, you might not know what that means. This just looks like a sign to you. But for those of us that have been around, we know that that window there at the top is a logo that he used for a company, a failed company. The company's no longer around. And we've noticed that this window that you see on here, all right, is part of his old logo, all right? So that's number one I want to point out, all right? We see that. Bradley Bookout, Delaware County Council, and that's it. There's nothing else on there. No party, no nothing. All right. Now, the other thing that's important, like Ryan has said here, is there is no disclaimer. If we remove this ticker down here at the bottom, you can see there is no disclaimer on here. Now, people might say, well, wait a minute. What's that up there at the top in the writing? And I will show you what that is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the information of the Gill Line, a registered trademark, patent US 5, all of that crap. So that's not the disclaimer. However, Ryan is wrong, and I am technically wrong. There is a disclaimer on this. You can't see it in this picture. And if you're driving by this, you can't see it. Matter of fact, you can't see it if you get out and you walk up on it. The disclaimer is right here in red and white from page to page. What you're seeing is a disclaimer that says, do not vote for this guy. That's the disclaimer. And that was a joke that I just decided right there as I said it. But no, let me be honest. There is a disclaimer on this. I know it's going to be probably hard for you to see. But let me try to, because I can't show you on this pop-up picture. Let me pull the picture down like this. And let me take you, and I've got to pull the picture up in my, here we go. Let me try to show you here like this. There is actually a disclaimer on this sign. Do you see right here where my mouse is right here? My cursor's going back and forth. There is a disclaimer right here. All right. But I want to be very clear. That disclaimer does not, I'm going to tell you again. I'm going to show you where it's at. It's right here. It does not comply with the law. This sign might as well not even have a disclaimer on there. It might as well not even have a disclaimer. What's the point of having the disclaimer if the disclaimer's on here and you can't see it? Specifically, they are clear. The law is clear about what you must be able to see. How the disclaimer must be laid out, what you must be able to see. It's all very, very clear. All right. So they've not done what needs to be done. And it's not surprising to me, kind of going along with the rest of the theme of this episode. Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, it's just icing on the cake. They are not doing the things that they need to be doing. They feel that it's beneath them. They don't need to do those things. They can simply just do what they want, when they want, how they want, as they please, and it's okay. There's no problem with it. It's perfectly okay to do whatever the hell you want. If you're James King or you're Bradley Bookout or you're Eugene Whitehead or you're Jessica Piper, you don't need to campaign. You don't need to be open and honest. You don't need to talk to the public. The public, they're beneath you. Believing like that and acting like that and showing us that. Look, they're not even hiding it anymore. Bookout expects to win, and he's not even going to talk to anybody.
Well, isn't it actually a crime to not have that disclaimer on a sign?
It is absolutely a crime. So basically what happens is at this point, or at a point that a candidate does not put a disclaimer on a sign, it is a reportable offense. And let me pull this up here. Indiana campaign. Disclaimer. Okay. Political signs and disclaimer requirements. All right, we've got this campaign disclaimer brochure pull up here. It's big enough, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big enough deal that they actually put out a full, the Indiana Secretary of State's office puts out a full disclaimer brochure here. All right, I'm going to make this big enough so that you can see it. It says political signs and disclaimer requirements for political literature, advertisements, and mailings that includes absentee application. Who has the authority to remove or confiscate materials and literature without disclaimer? Only appropriate law enforcement authorities. So let me be very clear. If there is a sign on your property that you did not put there or you did not want to be there, if you own a property, but like say you own a rental, but it's not rented and someone's there and you go there and there's a sign, you're able to pull that sign up if you so wish. If you've told a candidate, yes, Whitehead, you can put a sign out here, but you didn't know about who Whitehead was and you later find out you don't like or support him, if it's your property and you allowed a candidate to put a sign out there, you can change your mind and you can pull the sign up. What you cannot do is you cannot go and put signs out of yards that are not yours. Is there a penalty for removing a political sign without authority to do so? Removing a sign without authority to do so may be criminal conversion. So it's the misdemeanor version of theft. You're basically committing theft, okay? And this Buzzell v. State is a situation that happened right here in Delaware County. I'm pretty sure. I think if I would go back and look at that, I'm pretty sure it is. When may I begin placing yard signs? All right, this is very interesting. State law does not specify when yard signs may be placed. Instead, this decision is up to the counties, cities, and towns. A political subdivision may not enforce an ordinance or regulation limiting the number of signs during a period beginning 60 days before an election and ending the beginning of the 6th day after the election. All right, so that's very important for people to know. All right, because we a lot of times will have people that run around here and say lots and lots and lots of different things. All right, be very clear. Political signs are a First Amendment right, and, you know, battle that out, people. I can give you the name of a good attorney. Disclaimers on mailings that include absentee application. Okay, that's there. That's important, but we're not going to read that. That's not what we're talking about. Is there a penalty for circulating, publishing literature other than material concerning a candidate without a required disclaimer? Yes. So there's a disclaimer that needs to be on mailers. All right, that's very important. What is the procedure for reporting violation? All right, we don't really care about that. May a political sign be posted on utility poles, property? Political signs may not be posted, yada, yada, yada. All right, we hear that. An authorized sign placed on a highway right away is public nuisance. Someone needs to let James King know this. All right, we're going to come back to that. Remember this. An unauthorized sign placed in a highway right of way is a public nuisance. The sign may be removed only by the authority having jurisdiction over the highway. Contact the appropriate office, the city, town, street department, county highway department, or state department of transportation for assistance. Inquiries regarding posting political signs and materials of other public property. All right, we go down here. What it is a disclaimer. All right, this is where it's important. A disclaimer identifies who paid for certain political material and whether any candidate approves of the material or if the material is paid for by someone other than the candidate. So it says paid for by the committee to elect Christopher Bilbrey, paid for by the Friends of Christopher Bilbrey, paid for by the Political Action Committee, not endorsed by any candidate. Those are disclaimers. You hear them on TV and political ads. You see them on TV ads. You see them on your campaign literature. You're supposed to see them on your signs. Must political messages on radio, television, or cable broadcast include disclaimer? In general, media regulated by federal law, not Indiana law for information, But yes, the answer is yes. Must political messages in literature or other material containing candidates for federal office include a disclaimer? Disclaimers on this type of literature or material are governed by a federal law. Contact the Federal Election Commission for information, but the answer is yes. Must political messages concerning candidates for state, local, or school board offices include a disclaimer on literature or material concerning a candidate? All persons must print a disclaimer on literature and other material. If the material clearly identifies a candidate for these offices and expressly advocates the election or defeat of a clearly identified candidate, the requirement applies to all individuals and political organizations. Whether or not the individual is an organization is required to file a campaign finance report. Must a political message concerning a candidate for selection to fill a vacancy? What about literature material supporting opposing referendum? Yes. What about precinct committeeman? Yes. When a disclaimer required on literature, mail concerning clearly identified candidate. Okay. Where must the disclaimer appear? The disclaimer must appear on the front face of a billboard. However, if a mailing or other communication contains more than one page, the disclaimer can appear on either the front or the inside page. The disclaimer is not required to be placed on each page of the document. So if you get a mailer that has a front and back and they put the disclaimer on one of the front or back, that's all they need. Are the size and color contrast requirements? Yes. Listen right here. A disclaimer must be at least 7-point font. And the color of the disclaimer must contrast with the background color. The disclaimer cannot be difficult to read or easily overlooked and must be presented in a clear and conspicuous way. All right? You understand how that goes? Do you believe that falls under the law, this sign? Does this sign fall under the law? Does this happen? Does this happen? Okay. So, I just want to be very clear. They do have a disclaimer on here, but it is small. I think it's smaller than it should be. But no matter how big it is, it does not stand out and it is not viewable. Period. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe it was at one point, and because these signs are so old, it's faded away. That's very possible. I don't know. But, what does the disclaimer have to state? The language required for the disclaimer depends on who authorized and who paid for the literature. The individual organization committee must include the following statement. If paid for by Doe for State Senate Committee, if authorized by a candidate but paid for someone, paid for by ABC PAC or ABC political party or ABC corporation, yada, yada, yada. Authorized by Doe for sheriff. If not authorized or paid for by John Doe, Mary Parker, Bill Jones, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. All right, so it all lays out right there. Okay, it's very, very, very clear what has to happen. Okay, what are some examples of political materials and campaign literature requiring disclaimers? Direct mail pieces sent to more than 100 persons. Newspaper advertisements, billboards, signs, posters, yard signs, whether homemade or commercially printed, portable billboards, brochures, leaflets, circulars, and letterheads. Does the disclaimer have to appear on all printed material or campaign items? No. It does not have to appear on a shirt. It does not have to appear on a hat. All right. The disclaimer is not required on bumper stickers, although I've always told everybody if you can get it on there, you can fit it on there. It looks good, and it looks, because I'm really big on keeping campaign material looking the same. So I've always told people it doesn't have to be, but you might as well put it on if it looks good and it's not in the way. It does not need to be on pins or buttons. It does not need to be on pins. A lot of candidates will get pins and smaller items where a disclaimer cannot be conveniently printed. The disclaimer is not required on the wearing apparel. Okay, that's very, very clear. Certain communications, direct mailings of 100 or less pieces of mail do not need to go on, and yada, yada, yada. But that's the short of it. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, this sign does not pass the sniff test. And, it's going to be interesting to see if this is reported. It's going to be interesting to see if this is handled appropriately, because I'm going to tell you where these get reported to is the election board. The election board of Delaware County. Well, we know how fair and open and impartial they are. What are they going to be willing to do about it? It's going to be interesting to see if anything happens there at all. All right, while we move into the next part here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask that you please do us a favor and hit all of these things here. Hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell. And please share the show with folks that you might feel are interested. And even if you don't think they're going to be interested, share it anyways, because this is important information that they need to know. We are just 27 days away from the election, folks. And while I say that, while we're just 27 days away, there are going to be people who will be done with the election tomorrow because early voting is already underway. You can go and vote in your area. All right. So that is very important. Now, I want to let you guys know that it's politics as usual in Delaware County. What do I mean by that? All right, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. We all know that we've been fighting this very nasty attempt at one candidate is attempting to use the power of the entire government apparatus to support his cause. Who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about James King, of course. And why am I saying that? Well, because James is scared. For the first time, James is scared. See, in the election in 2022, where he ran for sheriff against Skinner, something in his brain, for some unknown reason, told him that he could actually beat Skinner, which is insane, okay? told him he could beat Skinner. That's nuts. That is absolutely crazy that he thought that he could beat the sheriff. I don't understand why he thought that. All right, but that's crazy. Well, that election, he got his ass handed to him. He was beat badly in that election. And now he's running for re-election against a guy who has every bit as big of a team and campaign support system as Skinner had. Plus, he has Skinner and all of Skinner's campaign team and support apparatus. So that whole system has met up to work to take King out of this election. And for the first time, James King and his cohorts are afraid. And when you back someone like that into a corner, they don't just say, well, okay. They start to play dirty. They start to do things that maybe otherwise they don't think they should have done, because they know that if they lose this, it's over. It's over. So a lot of people in the county in the last couple of weeks got a mailer. The famous mailer that went out. And man, I have this in the car because my grandparents got one of these, and I had it, but I left it in the car. But you all know what it is. It's the campaign. It's the campaign mailer that went out. Let me pull this up and show you here just to make sure that we're all aware of the same thing. You guys are aware of what I'm speaking of. And I can pull this up. This is real easy right here. Oh, we've already got some hits on a comment I made. We'll talk to you about that here in a minute. This is gonna be a fun evening, ladies and gentlemen. So here is the mailer that I'm talking about. Most of you are familiar with this. This, of course, is the mailer that went out last week or the week before. And it was this mailer that was put out, and it's talking about the everything great that the commissioners have done, focusing on James King here. This is a quasi campaign mailer sent out and paid for. It says Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. Okay. So the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. Now, the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, that is a government entity. For those of you that really focus along with Muncie, and are aware of the are really aware of what goes on in Muncie. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission is the city's version of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. Okay, so they share similarities in what they do. They focus on economic development and yada yada yada. Okay, so you'll remember here a while back that we all watched this video. This is a video of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. Okay. Its members are from here down. Okay. So we've got Amber Green right here in pink. We've got Rob Kiesling right here doing the Lex Luthor. We've got Bryce Conyers, Angie Moyer, and Michelle Batters here, okay, from this end down, All right. And they basically work, they're appointed by the council and the commissioners, appoint them similar to how the city council and the mayor appoints the MRC. Okay. Now, James King used to be on this board, and he stepped down at the end of last year. Yet, he always attends these meetings, and as you're aware, he speaks here from the audience, and he has his thoughts being heard. We see back here that one of his campaign gurus, this is Bill Walters. He and King are connected. He's his campaign manager. We also see that over here, let me try to see right here. Right here is Bradley Bookout. So, of course, he's there, and he's connected to King and connected to Bill Walters. And, of course, to me, this is the last day that we saw, effectively, this is the last day that we've seen Bradley Bookout, honestly. He's been MIA since. So that's kind of the setup there. Well, everybody was pissed off about this because at this meeting that we're watching on the screen, they did not allow for public comment, even though King was able to speak from the audience and several times. So that was issue number one. Then, boom, this mailer comes out. All right. The mailer comes out. Everybody's pissed off about this mailer coming out. Everybody said they don't like the fact that, hey, what's happening here? Who's paying for this? We don't like this. And I really, really, really appreciate there are two people that commented on this. One being Matt Kantz. And I really appreciate the comments that Matt Kantz made about this. It really, really just said everything I wanted to say. His words are, "I've stayed out of the fray of this election season as much as possible, despite my explicit support of Stephen Brand for county commissioner. I also support my fellow council folk running for re-election and anyone else willing to put their name in the hat because it's hard. But this is self-promoting perversion of our tax dollars used to deliver a pseudo-campaign mailer to our entire county, which may cost upwards of $10,000. Of course, we know it's costing $12,000 some dollars or more, and it deserves an opinion. This is a complete misuse of dollars of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, of which I cannot find proof of or approval to spend the money in this manner. Nor is there any history of them using TIF dollars to do so previously. I have messaged with at least one member of the East Central Indiana Regional Planning District Board, which is a nonprofit run by Bill Walters. The board of the ECRIPD has not endorsed any candidate. However, this nonprofit that receives financial support from the county commissioners is effectively running the current county commissioner James King's campaign for re-election, with the ECIRPD phone number being utilized on the campaign committee paperwork and prompted as the phone number of record for citizens to contact. Remember, we've talked about this. It was disgusting. If this is not blatant unethical conflict of interest, I'm not sure what is. Old school Democrats in this county would use taxpayer dollars in this self-serving way, but I thought Republicans were above that fray. Apparently not. I will be making it my mission to be sure it is publicly known as such. Why would the DCRC suddenly send out a mailer touting past successes, not current successes? I believe Commissioner King is being given terrible campaign advice. No, that's where he's wrong. This is what King is wanting to do. This is his political answer on this. I get it. I sure hope he helps correct these continued conflicts of interest during this election. Sadly, it takes away from the successes that we have seen, the economic development here in Delaware County, and successes that he and other commissioners have had over the years, okay? So most of that I like. Most of that I agree with, all right, wholeheartedly. The other aspect of this and the other comment that was made about this was made by none other than Counselor Ryan Webb when he referred to this mailer specifically as what it is. It's an example of soft corruption. If you out there want an example of what corruption is, that, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of corruption. It's soft corruption. I talked last night about the fact that there are a couple different types of corruption. You can have corruption that is illegal actions, and you can have corruption that is technically not illegal, but it is immoral, or it doesn't sit right, but it's not illegal. It might be okay, but is it okay with all of us? That type of thing, all right? And that is very indicative of what's going on here. While they may have skirted around certain laws, some are questionable, all right? And I think it will be ferreted out eventually. But even if it comes down that, yep, this was A-okay, nothing's wrong here, everything's good. No. This is soft corruption, and it's misuse of tax dollars, and this is what it looks like involving local elected officials. All right? He is 100% correct when he says that. I just want to be very clear. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, pissed a bunch of people off. So they said, we're going to show up and we're going to speak at the next meeting. Yay, you should do that. Oh, wait. They've taken public comment off the agenda. Well, the public was going to show up to show their displeasure of that and of this mailer. When is this meeting set for? Oh, it's set for 9 a.m. on Thursday, April 11th, because the DCRC meetings occur on the second Thursday of each month, every month, just like the council meetings occur on the first Monday. The Delaware County Commissioners are the first and third Mondays. The Delaware County Council is the fourth Tuesday. The MRC is the third Thursday of the month. The Board of Works is every Wednesday every week. These meetings are locked in to a place where everyone knows when they are. Well, exactly 2 or 3 days after the last meeting, it came out that Bryce Conyers, the president of the RCD, the DCRC, would not be able to be in attendance. Okay. No, thanks, Trace. I've got one. I've just got it in the car. So, I mean, I don't need it for any reason. I got Grandma and Grandpa's. It's just in the car. I was just going to show it here, but I got it on the picture. Thank you though. So here's Bryce Conyers right here. This is Bryce Conyers. He's the guy that sits in the middle. Now, let's be very clear. Bryce Conyers is on here solely to do the bidding of James King. He is a King supporter through and through, 100%. That's all he cares about. He does not care about anything else. Period. Boom, bang, pow. James King. That's all he cares about. He's carrying the water for King. He's holding King's pocket. He's riding King's back, doing whatever you want to call it. All right, that's what he's doing. Well, Mr. Conyers made it be known to the rest of his board members, Michelle Batters, Angie Angie Mayer, Meyer, Rob Kiesling, and Amber Green. He made it aware that he would not be able to be in attendance at the April meeting. Okay, so what happens then? Well, just like the council meetings or the commissioners meetings or any other meetings, like we've watched the Board of Works meetings when Ted Baker's absent or Lola Maurer is absent, they just have the meeting with 2 people there. 2 people is a quorum. When you have 5 members on the board, 3 members are a quorum. So if he can't be there, no problem. We've got Michelle Batters, we've got Angie, we've got Rob, we've got Amber, no issue. The vice president kicks into the role and runs the meeting. Who's the vice president? Well, it's Rob Kiesling. That means Rob Kiesling could very easily allow public comment to be heard at this Thursday's coming meeting. Isn't that cool? That's great. Now the citizens will get to be heard. That's wonderful. We love that. That's fantastic. That's absolutely amazing. Well, don't get too excited, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you right here, right now, as soon as I can get this pulled up here. Okay. Ooh, I need to get this slid over. Come on. There we go. And post. Oh, how did I know it was going to look like trash? I knew that I would go through all of that and it would look like absolute trash. Well, we'll do it like this. We'll see if I can. They're starting to come in. I can't wait. I'll show you what I was laughing at here in a minute. Give me a second. All right. So, we have this meeting that's scheduled for tomorrow at 9 a.m. where we know that one King lover is not going to be there. And so, cool, we're going to have a chance to have the citizens speak before the election, coming out and questioning what's going on. They're going to be questioning the commissioners. They're going to be questioning King's integrity. They're going to be questioning Bradley Bookout's integrity. They're going to be questioning Bill Walters' integrity. They're going to be questioning the RDC's integrity. They're going to be finding out. Remember, I have issued a records request for this material, and I've got back part of it, but they still need to be giving me the remainder of it. And I think they're going to have a hard time doing that because I think there are no other records. They have no other records. So I think that's an issue for them. Well, this popped up last night, and I know that you're not going to be able to read this, but I'll read it to you. This, ladies and gentlemen, is in the top section, the white part. This is an email from Brad Bookout to all 5 of the DCRC members. And it says, DCRC members, I am emailing you to inform you that we do not have a quorum for Thursday, April 11th, 2024, DCRC meeting. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be held Thursday, May 9th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Did you catch that? We do not have a quorum for this coming Thursday's meeting. The next meeting will be held on Thursday, May 9th, 2024. Okay? Well, what does that mean? The primary election day is Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have essentially canceled this meeting, and they've made it to where it doesn't matter. Now, my hope is that it doesn't matter what happens at the election, win, lose, or draw. I hope that every citizen that was mad and planning to come there tomorrow will still show up and ream the hell out of these people for their actions. Now we've got a third action to ream them for, and that's the fact that they've canceled this meeting specifically to cancel being held accountable. Because what this means now, ladies and gentlemen, what this means now is that Bryce Conyers can't make it. Okay? So it essentially means that two other people cannot make it. I've contacted Amber. Amber said she could be there. I spoke with Amber. Amber said that Rob Kiesling could be there. So neither one of these people are planning to not be there. So that means he's not going to be there as we knew. And now, for some unknown reason, she's not going to be here, which she attends all other meetings, and she's not going to be here. Why is that? Now, I do have to throw into the mix and let you know that Michelle Batters works for none other than Mr. Brad Bookout. She works in his office for him in this building where this meeting is held. Why all of a sudden can she not be there? Angie Moyer. Hey, Ryan Webb, are you here? Does Angie Moyer is Angie Moyer, does she work for the county? Delaware County. Let me look this up here real quick. Kate, if he pops up on the screen and says something, let me know. I'm off screen real quick.
He just said it was interesting who sent the email.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that in a second.
He wrote, yes, she does.
Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. So, for all this, let this break your mind for a moment. Michelle Batters works for this man right here. All right? Who's running and is a part of the axis of evil, who has his job because of James King. So Michelle Batters has her job because Bookout has his job because of James King. This woman works for James King. This man is supportive wholeheartedly for James King. So these three people owe their positions, owe their support and everything, their allegiance to King, to Bookout. And now, amazingly, for the first time in I don't know how long, they all three can't show up to a meeting. All right, if they can't show up Thursday, let's have it Friday. If they can't show up Friday, let's have it next Monday. If they can't show up Monday, let's have there's 3 other weeks. Let's have it Monday the 6th of May. Why push this off until after the election? Are you guys seeing it? Now, going back to what Ryan said and what Kate was trying to say there, I do want to show, if we go back to this email, and I know it's difficult for you guys to see this. This email, the email in white, was sent by Bradley Bookout. Bradley Bookout is the person who sent the email canceling it. So to answer Jackie's question, who else was not going to be able to attend? Well, I asked that question because the dark part of this picture I've shown right here, this is Amber Green. She is on the board in question. And she made a post about this. And she says, integrity gives you real freedom because you have nothing to fear since you have nothing to hide. And boy, what a quote. We could have used that quote tonight. She goes on to say, unfortunately, if you have questions about your tax dollars being spent on a campaign mailer sent by the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, you will not be able to ask those publicly at the meeting, as the meeting scheduled for this week has now been canceled. As a member of this commission, this is disappointing. As a taxpayer, this is unacceptable. Couldn't have said it better myself, Amber. If you want to see transparency in the expenditure of your local tax dollars, vote for, and then she turns it into a campaign piece, which I get it, perfectly fine. I understand it. Amber Green, and I agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, for the love of God, look here in Bradley Bookout's signature. Bradley Bookout, Director of Economic Affairs, Delaware County, Indiana, ECI Regional Planning District, 1208 White River Boulevard, which is the same address that James King's campaign lists. It's the same address where the other gentleman, Bill Walters, works. All right. Bradley Bookout's also a candidate for county council. He will benefit from citizens not griping before the election about this mailer. This went from Bryce Conyers simply not being able to be there to Bryce Conyers, Michelle Batters, and Angie Moyer not being able to be there. Now, yes, you are right, Jackie. Bryce Conyers cannot attend. Angie Moyer does work for Delaware County Commissioners, and she cannot attend. And Michelle Batters, who works for Bradley Bookout, cannot attend. Now, Bradley Bookout is not a board member of this commission. No, he's not a board member of this commission. He is the economic.
What authority does he have to announce that the meeting is canceled?
He's the economic. So he's like, for example, his position is like what Jeff Howell's position is now for the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. Or, for example, what Dan Ridenauer was when Dan Ridenauer was the mayor, but then throw that hat out, and he was also the economic development director. Now, that still is a good question. As the economic development director, Does he have authority to cancel this meeting? I personally don't know.
Well, he's the economic development director, but if the board votes on something, he's the one that has to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So
Yeah.
the board is technically like his boss.
Yep.
And so they make the big decisions, and then he's the boots on the ground that makes it happen during the week, right?
Yep.
So he's telling his bosses to fuck off and not come to a meeting.
They're not meeting. Yep. It's canceled this week. Well, and it's because his bosses, who you say, basically report to him. Michelle Batters works for him. Angie Moyers works for King. Bookout works for King. So if King tells Bookout to tell Angie not to be there, Angie's not going to be there. If Michelle Batters is told not to be there by Bookout, she won't be there. I mean, and everybody who's anybody knows that Michelle Batters is a puppet on a string for Bradley Bookout. A yes man, a yes woman. Rob Kiesling should be able to convene the meeting. Now, let me take you a step further. There's nothing wrong with the other two members of the meeting going ahead and meeting. They just can't vote on anything. They can't take official action. And it's not technically a public meeting. But there's no reason why they couldn't hold court and allow citizens to speak. Now, they're not going to do that. And I understand. I mean, I would pull some kind of crap like that. You know what I mean? Like, I would easily, that's something Ryan would do. All right, come on down. If Ryan was on this board, if I was on this board, I would be like, all right, let's meet in the parking lot, and everybody wants to bitch about it. Folks, if you don't understand by now what's going on, you're not paying attention. Can Stephen Brand win this election? Can people that need to win the council races win to make Delaware County better? Yes. Can these people still steal it and take it away and lie and swindle and cheat? You bet you. You bet you. I would move the meeting of 2 to the auditorium. No, I know. There's no problem. I mean, I want to know. Listen, I heard way back before the controversy that Bryce Conyers was not going to be there. So even though I would love to throw him into the mix, I'm not gonna, crunch his head for this. He's out of it. But I want to know why Batters and why Moyer cannot be there. I want to know what happened all of a sudden that this is happening. And as Kate put up, just a reminder, this is also a 501c3 campaigning on behalf of a candidate, which is illegal. Here's a link to the complaint process with the IRS. And that is fantastic. Sounds like Bookout just grabbed the opportunity to assume the responsibility to cancel the meeting. Who was going to challenge him? This is pathetic. Absolutely. Well, I will tell you exactly I will tell you absolutely what happens here is no one was going to challenge Bookout. Now, I feel like Amber or Rob Kiesling, either one would have no problem questioning him or challenging him on this. But if he's told the other three to not participate, they're just simply not going to do it. So they're out of luck on that. So it's up to us to challenge him. It's up to us to send the message. Ryan Webb said this. Listen, this is very true. And we do this here on this page. We'll make things with JD Prescott and do different stuff. But when we do it in such a way that people know that it is a disclaimer and it's taking the piss and it's not a thing. Ryan says, by the way, if you don't see the actual post of mine, his social media, on his page, then it's a deep fake and I didn't say it, just saying. And I want to show you what he's talking about, because I feel like it is important in this type of environment and when things can just happen. Because I will tell you, listen, I know Ryan. Ryan is capable of getting himself in trouble and saying something that's going to piss people off. Ryan is more than capable of doing that his own damn self. Like, I guarantee it, just like me. If you stick around long enough, I'm going to say something that pisses you off, all right? It's just the way it is. I ask you guys to be big enough to understand that we're all adults here, and you don't have to like me or support me. You don't have to like me or support me in everything I say or do. You can disagree with things that I say and things that I do. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to hate you for it. It's going to be perfectly okay. All right? I say that all the time. All right? That being said, I have idiots out there who will put words in my mouth, and I don't need that, because people then believe that I said something I didn't say. That same thing happens to Ryan, and I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to show you an example of that. Okay? Something happened on Monday that was magnificent. It was not political. It was a masterpiece of this universe. It was a present from the Almighty. It was an amazing example to just unplug from all of the insanity and take part in something amazing. Okay? And just like the rest of us, Ryan Webb chose to do that same thing. Ryan posted about his experience, and he said, "One of the coolest things I have ever seen in person. The camera doesn't even begin to accurately capture how mesmerizing this was to see in person." He did not post anything political. He did not hate on anybody. He did not run anybody through the mud. He was not talking political here in any way. He did the same thing that thousands of us did. Hundreds of thousands of us did. Maybe not here in Muncie, but elsewhere up and down the path of totality. However, I did not see this post. I did not see Ryan's post saying, "One of the coolest things I have ever seen in person. The camera doesn't even begin to accurately capture how mesmerizing this was to see in person." That's not what I saw. What I saw was this. And it's going to be a little harder for you to see, but I will read this to you. Okay? This is what I saw. "One of the coolest things I have ever seen in person. I didn't let no liberal cucks tell me that I had to wear special glasses to look at it either. I looked at it with my own eyes and took in the beauty. Now what? Wait a minute. I saw this, okay? And I read this, and the second I read this, I was like, something else is going on here. Ryan didn't say this. Well, then I noticed that it wasn't Ryan's post. I noticed it was a screenshot of his post that someone shared anonymously, and they said, bless him. So now what happens is this gets shared, and someone out there reads this and says, Ryan Webb said I didn't let no liberal cucks tell me I had to wear this special glasses to look at it either. What an asshole. No. Ryan said, one of the coolest things I've ever seen in person. The camera doesn't even begin to accurately capture how mesmerizing this was to see in person. When I spoke to him, not about this, but just about the eclipse, he specifically told me he wore his glasses. Ryan wore glasses? What the hell does that matter? But what's the point of this? That's weird to me. So I've got that. I didn't plan on speaking about that, but he just commented this thing, and so that's that. And like Charlie said, Ryan says plenty on his own without needing to make stuff up on a non-parody page. And yeah, that's the other issue. This was posted not even to a parody page. It was posted to a page that's supposed to be about, posting factual information. Look, I've got no problem. It's still not illegal. No. And listen, I'm not trying to say it should be illegal. You got a First Amendment right to do what you want to do. Say, fight it, I'll fight it. I'm just saying there has to be a path. Now, I'm okay. There's going to be people that break out of that path and take their own direction. But I just wanted to add to his thing. The way that it's not illegal and people are free to do what they want. God bless them. That's America. However, you can also take his word here that says, by the way, if you don't see it posted on my page, call it into question. Now, there's going to be times he's going to say stuff that are going to piss you off. I guarantee it. I promise you. He'll probably piss you off in the next 5 days. It just is what it is. Memes get you 5 to 10.
But so here's the question, though.
Yeah.
This is affecting someone that you support as a candidate, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if this had been put up on July 2nd, he could.
I guess
he could potentially have them prosecuted.
I guess technically, yeah, because they didn't put a disclaimer on there.
Because they didn't put a disclaimer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So are we now suddenly supporting that fuckery of a bill because it affects one of our friends?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm still not supporting it. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I know.
I was just checking because you're
okay.
No.
That's
this
what.
That's still the hill to die on.
Yeah,
I will make my memes.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm not saying. What I'm supporting is Ryan saying, and I would support JD saying it too, or Dan Ridenour, or Sproles. If you don't see it coming from me, you should question it. And see, I love Charlize where she's at here. I can appreciate it, and I love it. And that's everybody should be that way. you know. And I always tell you, look, don't just believe it from me. Go do the research your own self and look and decide. So just FYI on that. Hey, before we get out of here, I want to take you to another little thing that just, in my opinion, shows you the icing on the cake. Okay? And that is late the week before last, or early into last week, I started getting these weird messages from people in the city of Muncie. And these people were saying, hey, have you heard that the city of Muncie fired the superintendent of the street department, i.e. slash the city engineer? And I said, no, they've not fired him. Or I've not heard they fired him. And a couple people said, I think you need to check into this. Something fishy's going on with him. Something's going on with his office. His car is parked at City Hall, and it's been parked at City Hall, and we've not seen him around. And I was like, okay. So I started talking to people, started doing this, started doing that. And I was on the phone with our friend Audie. And Audie and I were just shooting the shit, and he said something which just happened to remind me about these text messages that I was getting. And I said, hey, have you heard anything about city engineer? I didn't say them firing him. I assumed maybe he quit. Did you hear anything about him quitting or anything? He's like, no, I've not heard anything about that, yada, yada, yada. Well, I was like, okay, I'm looking into it. So I get off the phone with Audie, and I should know this by now, but I've somehow misplaced it. And it's like tele-Audie type of thing. When you tell Audie anything, he's not just going to be like, sit there and twiddle his thumbs. He's like a mean little kid. So I'm sitting there minding my own business. I just got off the phone with Audie. Must be why Hoyt Street's dragging along. I want you to tell me about Hoyt for the rest of our lives. Even when it's done, I want you to still bitch about it. I love that you bring that up. I love it. That's so funny to me. Anyways, yeah, it must be. I'm sitting there after my phone call with Audie. I got off the phone, was like off the phone like 5 or 10 minutes. Audie calls me back. And that's a common thing too. When you talk to Audie once, you never just talk to Audie once. You always talk to him. He hangs up and then he calls you right back. Lots of times you talk to him, you hang up, he calls you right back. You hang up, he calls you right back. You hang up, he calls you right back. That's generally what happens. And it's like, what is going on with this? So I answer the phone. I'm like, yeah. He says, well, they didn't fire him. They didn't fire him. I said, what do you mean? I called Dan. Dan answered. They didn't fire him. And I was like, what? I tell this to Audie. Audie can't sit on it. Audie calls the mayor on the phone. The mayor answers the phone. And Audie says, hey, I heard you fired Adam, whatever his name is. Adam. Street Department Adam. And Dan says, no, we did not. Now, he didn't ask him about it. He just said, no, we did not, which was weird, which was kind of weird phrasing. And Audie and I kind of talked about that a little bit. I'm like, all right, Audie, whatever. So we hang up. So I come up here to the computer and I type up a record request and I send it out. Let me see where this is at. Oh, yeah. All right, I sent this out on Friday. I sent this out on Friday the 5th. And I sent this to Mayor Ridenour, Deputy Mayor Ivy, HR Director Wilson, and Communications Director Michelle Owen. And on Friday the 5th, and this was at 11:17 a.m., I said, "Good morning. I'm sending this out at 11:16 on Friday, April 5th, 2024. This email is directed to the mayor and or his administration. Can you advise when Adam Leach became a contract employee? Question mark. Why did this happen? What are his duties now? What is the payment schedule that he'll be making? What does this change from your perspective of his duties? Will you be looking to find a full-time street department superintendent? Also, I would like a copy of his contract with the city. I have also copied the council on this email just for their information. Please let me know if you have any questions that I can answer, which will help you fully and accurately answer my questions." So keep in mind, I sent this to him on April 5th. Audie called him on April 3rd. So we had been talking about this for a while, and the information came to me on the 1st or 2nd. Now that I saw these emails, I looked at a little note I had up here. It came to me on the 1st or the 2nd. No, that is very true. Yeah, contract employee. Did he move to Texas? So now that you know some of that backstory, all right, I want to show you, number one, why Mayor Ridenour has me living inside of his head rent-free, and he is driving himself crazy trying to figure out how the hell I stay one step ahead of him always. Number two, I'm going to show you the icing on the cake. And number three, I'm going to show you how this is bullshit that we should all be mad about, because, again, it is lack of communication. It is lack of transparency. It is lack of accountability. And they're not hiding it. They're just breaking it off in us, sticking it in our face, and saying, "Kiss my ass, this is the way it is." This is, wouldn't that be hilarious? Wouldn't it be hilarious if we finally come out and she's actually my mom? The hand that reaches through and gives me the water, that's Shireen Wegley. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Okay. I live in Shireen's basement, upstairs basement. You know, I lived at a house in Winchester that lived 2 houses down from a house that actually had an upstairs basement. And you might be like, what the hell's an upstairs basement? Let me tell you. You walked in on the ground floor and you walked around. And from the ground floor, you could get to the 2nd floor. You could get to the 3rd floor. And you could get to the mother-in-law attic that was up top, the top. But you could not get to the basement from the 1st floor. In order to get to the basement, you had to walk from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor, get out of the stairwell, open the door next to the stairwell, and then walk down another stairwell that was walking down past the 1st floor into the basement. And I always thought that was the absolute coolest thing ever. Like, that was badass. You could only get to the basement from the 2nd floor. And every time I've said the
this
upstairs
was England
basement,
during the Reformation, I would say it was a priest hole.
I know. Yeah, and you know what house this is. Come back here. It's the house. So if you walk down your street, like you're gonna go in the front door of the jail,
Okay.
like okay, and so that is South Street.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're on South, and then you're walking, and you cross over Main Street, and there's the yellow house right there, and there's Rowena Hawley's house. Okay, or used to be her house.
Yes.
And then you walk through that over to Meridian. It's the big 3-story house right there on the corner. That's the house that you can get to. You can only get to the basement from the 2nd floor, which is wild. I love that.
That just makes me think of the Reformation and preschools.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's very funny. It's weird. I that's so amazing. I would love that house if I was hell. I would love that house now. So it is what it is. All right, back to what we're talking about. Okay, so now in order to know what what I'm going on here about with Muncie, I'm going to take you to the Board of Works meeting from today. Now, keep in mind today's the 10th. All right. Today is the 10th of April. So keep that in mind when we're watching this Board of Works.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the April 10th.
Hey, look, there's Adam. What's he doing there? What's
of the
Adam
meeting of
doing
the
there?
Board of Public Works and Safety for the City of Muncie. If you please rise.
Oh, we must be wrong. He must still be there. Never mind.
For the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. If we could have the roll call, please, Belinda.
Present.
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 We're honored to have the Belinda Munson here with us this morning, so thank you. If we could also, we've been given the minutes
Why
for
anybody
the.
would be happy about that?
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All those, we have Mr. Craig Wright, City Controller, to present the Register of Claims.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning.
A little few more claims than we did last week with the short claims we had. We had this was our credit card week, so a few more claims put on the credit card. We also had an ARP on page 11 to the West Briar Neighborhood Association from the Neighborhood Assistance Program. That was for $24,296.14. We had our workers' comp, general liability claims, and all of our healthcare costs also on this week. And with that, I'll just open it up to any questions you might have.
Linda.
I do have some. On page 16, under the Board of Works, there's a credit card charge for a sponsorship, and that's all the info we have on it for $120.
Yeah, Lisa, there's a lot of sponsorships that are paid out of that account from that to different organizations, et cetera. So I'll find out what organization it's for and email it to you this afternoon, or bring up the answer next week.
Okay.
So.
And then also on page 9, 8 and 9 actually, we had almost $375 worth of meals for the Merit Commission, Fire Merit Commission interviews.
Those were.
I still have a problem, I guess, with funding meals for people. Sometimes that can't be avoided, but on the other hand, if you're scheduling the interviews, it looks to me like you could avoid meal times.
You know, the Merit Commission meets in the evenings, and these were actually three separate receipts, 3 different days on that. They were all entered on the 21st.
Actually, there are 4.
One,
I think.
yeah, 3 to McAllister, 1 to Pizza King. So.
Again, I think it's a scheduling issue. I mean, I would like for us to
For everything there is to bitch about, I don't have a problem if these people are meeting in the evening if they eat. This is what she finds to bitch about? There is way bigger issues going on in the city of Muncie. Linda?
Reevaluate that practice and policy.
Okay.
Having to feed people.
Yeah, you hear they're not going to do that, right? You hear him say, okay, like they don't care. They don't care if you're bitching
Send
about
me
the
the bill for the $40 for Subway sandwiches. Shit.
Right. Yeah, right.
You dropped $1 million like you just took a.
Yeah. It blows my mind that this is what they are. Pizza King is expensive. I know that $400 that was probably broken up over payments. You know, and to be able to eat Pizza King, it does cost about $400 to feed 5 people. I get it. They you know, I don't know that any of them need to be Papa John's. Send them Papa John's or Domino's. I don't think anybody.
Nobody makes a cardboard crust like Domino's.
Oh God, this is just insane. Was alcohol served at these meetings? Yes. Yeah, I think so, because this is when they hired John Powell. I don't know about that. Who brought the blow?
People who are doing interviews or meetings or whatever.
Dude, buddy,
Just a quick question on 17.
Did you have to pay to use the bathroom? That's her question.
Can you outline under community development there's 4 different claims with the YWCA, 3 are the same amounts, just for additional clarification.
Yeah, there's wages for Watasha.
Okay.
I think that Lola's like, I haven't said anything in about 6 meetings. I'm just going to say something to sound like I fit in.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve?
And the approval of the claims.
Ted doesn't even know that he's supposed to ask questions anymore. He's just there, just herding goats.
Presented for $1,346,372.
Listen to that. How much?
Wait a minute. Did she also approve the lunch?
The claim.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, she made it a point to be upset about that and tell them, don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But then
And-
paid for it anyway.
Yeah, still paid for it.
Because
For
I'm
one-
sure it's fine.
Yes. At the end of the day, I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Claims as presented for $1,346,372.
$342.
Okay.
And we were
Good
bitching
job.
about $400 in pizza and deli food.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
For new business, we're approving an authorization by the city engineer to pursue acquisition of right of way in support of Columbus Avenue Live Learn probably.
It's live learn, Dan. Ted. Live learn. That makes sense. It's lively, Aaron.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Who's
So
this?
I've got
Adam?
a set of plans up there for you that shows all basically where every parcel that we're going to have to do an acquisition on. This is pure right-of-way acquisition, no structures, none of that type of stuff. In general, the acquisition is about somewhere between 6 and 9 feet on either side of the existing right-of-way.
After seeing
this-
this dude in his bathrobe, I just can't see him. He just doesn't, I can't ever take him serious anymore.
This is to accommodate the additional parking that we're planning on Columbus Avenue as part of that Live Learn. Typically what we will do, just the process is, assuming you guys give this approval, we do have the right-of-way documents already prepared. That's legal descriptions, exhibits, all that. I will turn it over to our right-of-way agent, which will probably be ADM. ADM will go forth and
thought he was
talk to the
ADM.
folks and
Oh.
see if we can get everything at a reasonable rate. Generally, part of this is establishing our base rate. Most of these are going to be less than basically State Board of Accounts, state law says anything under $25,000 is pretty much
Jack.
at realtor's discretion on how much we offer. Our tendency has been in the past to set a minimum. So basically everybody kind of gets the same thing for each parcel. I would recommend $500. We will, with that instruction, we'll send out our real estate agent to go forth and make that. On the larger parcels, of which there are two, one is close to 0.1 acres. And that is not, as you can guess, a very large parcel. That's 430-ish square feet. That one will maybe go up to $3,000 or $4,000. That just depends on what kind of improvements they have on the lot. We'll work that out kind of on an individual basis. Basically, this approval just kind of gives me the go ahead to go about hiring our real estate agent and giving them marching orders. So,
Okay.
got any questions? Happy to entertain them.
Do you have any questions?
I do have one. Tell me briefly, what's the underlying project that's causing us to do this?
So these are the Columbus Avenue improvements. They're being paid for by a Ready grant. The general idea is that we're going to add additional sidewalk. No, we will improve sidewalk, add ADA ramps, add on-street parking on both sides of the roadway of Columbus Avenue to support basically the live learn community development. So as I know Dogtown, which is a
Quit
Bev Road
drumming.
company, is looking at, let's
Thank
see,
you.
what is it? I want to call it an event center, but that type of development. So this has all been done in support of that Ready grant.
Thank you. Lola, any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I move approval of the authorization for right-of-way acquisition.
Second.
Okay, do we have any comments or questions from anyone? Okay, all those in favor.
By the way,
signify by
I
saying
second
aye.
that great.
Aye.
Aye.
All
Oh,
opposed?
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other business for the city this morning?
Up there,
We do.
Joe.
I can get it.
All right, folks, here we go. Here we go.
Thank you.
So sadly, our city engineer is taking another position.
What?
I know. But
Can
Everybody
we
act
vote
shocked.
against that?
What? When is this happening? And they're like, he's like, well, Bilbrey knew about it 2 weeks ago.
so the challenge is we're not positioned to get anywhere close to the salary that he's being offered. The nice things are it's with the nation's largest civil engineering firm, WSP, and Adam will be staying in the community and will be working primarily remote.
We can't match what salary he's being offered.
Yeah.
Isn't this the same turd bucket that paid almost $400,000 to a city engineer his first year in office?
Well, stand by and hear what this guy's getting ready to get paid. Yeah. Well, I want to know how much this Adam's getting ready to get paid by
I can't
WSP.
listen.
Wait till you hear. Yeah, you're right. Listen to this.
I believe there's an Indianapolis office that he'll go to on occasion. But anyway, what I did is I discussed with several other engineering firms, but also with WSP, we have a lot of things, including Columbus Avenue, that are in the works. And we're still doing ongoing interviewing for a new city engineer. And until we have that, we have engineering services that need to be done. And it made sense to me to put up a contract so that we could get those services accomplished.
this will be, Adam will be doing it. He will not be here on a full-time basis, but he knows what we're doing. And that's what this is. So I think that the attorneys put this together. So we work with our legal firm and their legal firm. We went back and forth on a number of things. I think it only asks for the president to sign. I've already signed it. But this is already effective. Well, it's effective as soon as like April 4th is when I signed it.
Okay. So, Mayor Dan signed this on April 4th. Okay. I sent the email out when, let's double check. I sent the email out at 11:17 on April 5th. So he signed it, and less than 24 hours later, Bilbrey APRA 040524. Now, Audie called him on the 3rd or the 4th, one of those days, the 3rd or the 4th. So I think that's interesting. Now, all right, let's keep going.
But Adam is no longer with us as a full-time
The contract, now he stopped. Let's back this up, because listen when the contract goes into effect.
already signed it. But this is already effective. Well,
It's already effective. No, it's not effective until it is signed by the Board of Works. So it will become effective on the 10th, but he's already been doing it since the 4th.
it's effective as soon as like April 4th is when I signed it.
That don't
But
matter.
Adam is no longer with us as a full-time employee of the city as of April 1st. He's still as the city.
So April 1st, okay. Signed 04 11 24. Adam employee starting April 1st. Okay, so this has basically been happening since the first, right when I found out about it.
He's still the city engineer, but not a full-time employee. He does serve on the sanitary district. That will continue. But I just wanted
So
to.
sanitary district, I don't care about. City engineer, he's going to be doing that part-time. The big issue I have here is that means he's no longer the street superintendent. And now, all of a sudden, we're back where we were with Brian Stevens Hotop, who was a part-time contract employee, and he was going around firing and disciplining union employees. And that is a no-no. Matter of fact, he fired one employee, and that employee got his job back because Brian Stevens Hotop, as a contract employee, cannot fire and discipline union contract employees. So they're in a world of hurt. So my question stands, when are we going to be hiring a street superintendent? And this makes like the 20th person that has left the Ridenhour administration in the 4 years he's been mayor. It's just astronomical. All right. The other thing is why? So he quit on the 1st. Why did Ridenhour not go to the Board of Works on Wednesday the 3rd and bring this up and get the ball rolling on this? Get it approved through the Board of Works. That way he could have signed the contract on the 4th and it would have been valid. Instead, he all by himself, unanimously in his little mind, made this, okay, we're going to do this. Then he brings it by the Board of Works. And I doubt he would have done that if I had not sent the email when I did. And I'm happy to know that I'm pushing Ridenhour to do the right thing. So it's going to be interesting when I said in my email This email is directed to the mayor or his administration. Can you advise when Adam Leach became a contract employee? Well, he became a contract employee, it sounds like, on the 1st. But technically, by law, he didn't become a contract employee until Thursday the 10th. So did we pay him is he not going to get paid from the 1st to the 10th? I think he shouldn't get paid for those days. Can you advise when Adam Leach became a contract employee? Why did this happen? I've now heard. What are his duties now? What is the payment schedule? Will you be looking for a full-time street department superintendent? Also, I would like a copy of his contract with the city. That's going to be an issue when they give that contract to me, and it's going to be after the day that I requested it. That's going to make them look bad. But here's the other biggie. I said, what does this change from your perspective? I want to know what they thought, because when I asked this time, I have the Brian Stevens-Hotop thing in mind. They were okay with Brian Stevens-Hotop just breaking the law and firing people as a contract employee. Adam can no longer do that. Matter of fact, as a contract city engineer, he should have nothing to say with the street superintendent, street department people anymore. He should just not interact with them at all. Now he's there just as the city engineer. So this is very interesting to me. All right. We're not done yet.
Get that part up there. So I'll get with you, Ted, afterwards for that particular signature. And then secondly, we just sold 5 lots, and we were just talking about the Live Learn neighborhood. This is the McKinley neighborhood. People might know it more as the McKinley, across from Muncie Central all the way to the Greenway. Is the neighborhood that we're working on. We did apply for and get ready funds to do road work, which will make more of a boulevard. I don't know what designs you were shown there, but there's a lot of what I call bump outs. I don't know if that's the correct engineering firm, but bump outs that will have green space on them, which we hope will impact the traffic flow in a positive way, but also provide parking. Last year, or actually at the end of 22, we changed the zoning in the neighborhood to allow for some R4 and R5, which allows townhomes, but also some of the areas closer to where the Y is being built were put in as central business. So we hope that this down the road will have some development. On Monday, we closed on 5 lots on Walnut Street with a local construction company, Crew Construction, and their intent is to build 7 townhomes on Walnut that are part of this neighborhood. And so we want to help them. There's some infrastructure work that needs to be done. We want to help them with that. So I also signed an economic development agreement with them. So I just wanted to publicly announce that. And they still have to go to zoning and to the planning commission, because they're taking 5 lots, turn them into 7 addresses. There's a lot of work they have to do. But we're excited, and what that can mean for Muncie Central, what it can mean for the neighborhood. And again, I think they're looking at doing this as home ownership opportunities, which is something that we need in the downtown area. And the McKinley neighborhood, we'd love to see more home ownership in that particular neighborhood. So just wanted to let you know of those 2 agreements, the economic development agreement, but also the WSP agreement for engineering services, of which Adam will be the primary. There will be some services that we won't use Adam because the fees, the hourly rate's too high. We'll use someone else to do those things at that particular firm.
Listen.
But those are the 2 things that I had. So,
Okay, very good. Thank you. Well, we've been presented with an agreement or contract for professional services for the City of Muncie and WSP USA. Kind of keep the work going. So do we have a motion to approve that?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Do you have any other comments or questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Article 3.1 says that the fees are not to exceed $455,000.
yeah, I anticipate long before.
I'm assuming we don't have that amount budgeted.
We do not. When I took office, they were paying about $750,000, about.
How much did you ask me if we paid the last guy?
Wasn't it almost $400,000 by the time they were done?
Okay. And what are the fees not to exceed? Did you hear what she just said?
No. I'm
Fees are
sorry.
not to exceed. Okay. This is really important. Listen to this.
Anticipate long before.
Article 3.1 says the fees are not to exceed $455,000.
Yeah, I anticipate long.
So essentially, we can pay this guy $450,000. And it's coming out of the edit fund. Listen, because that's going to be really important, because remember what we just said was going to be coming out of the edit fund like last week? Listen.
I'm assuming we don't have that amount budgeted.
We do not. When I took office, they were paying about $750,000, about $730,000 for various engineering fees. And that's one of the reasons I brought in a city engineer.
Right.
So as soon as we can get a full-time city engineer, the services of this agreement will go away. We'll submit. And so that would be for a possible year.
He does realize
But
that
there's
it's
no
almost
annual, it's
5
on an hourly
times
basis. So
Indianapolis pays their
if he's
city
working, if he
engineer.
works 10 hours.
Yeah, I love Brandon. I love my brother who's an engineer. But I mean, like what they make in the private sector or whatever, that's on the private sector. But I don't know that they're worth that for the city of Muncie. Like, yeah, it's far more than what they're paying. Dan likes to be like, oh, well, we were paying like all these other companies, blah, 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 whatever. We're paying one company, one guy in this company this much money for not full-time employee work. And it just depends on how slow we are in finding a city, a new full-time city employee. Keep in mind that Adam is now we're also going to be losing work, because they might have in the contract, I can't wait to get my hand on the contract, but we might have in that contract the fact that he can do shit at the street superintendent. That being said, he cannot be in any kind of supervisory role over those people, man. Banker talk. Yeah, right. $300,000. Yeah. So this is just really interesting. And you can hear how Dan just like gets real kind of, and it's just real strange. So
He bills 10 hours. If he works 30 hours, he works 30 hours. So it'll be based on what we have going. We know that there are several things in the works. So we know there are services, and we wanted to have someone who wouldn't have to review them from the beginning and therefore charge us even more hours looking at them.
Yeah.
So it just made sense to go this direction.
You mentioned an hourly fee. Is that schedule in here anywhere?
I don't believe that's in there.
why?
Okay. I'm thinking when we
That
had
would require transparency.
Brian, under the previous contract that we had such a schedule. So maybe that, I don't know whether that's worth considering as an.
Ooh, schedule. Did anyone else say that word? Ding, 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 ding. Question 1, 2, 3. What is the payment schedule? Christopher Bilbrey asked this back on the 5th with no answer yet.
Addendum or not, or publishing it.
Publishing it?
Well, it is not part of what you've received, but it is something that we have been discussing.
Okay.
What?
And under the previous contract that we had such a schedule. So maybe that, I don't know whether that's worth considering as an addendum or not, or publishing it.
Well, it is not part of what you've received, But it is something that we have been discussing.
I don't know what does that mean?
I'm assuming we don't have that amount budget.
About 7 years. So as soon as go away, we'll submit. And so that would be for a possible year. Well, it's all on an hourly basis. So if he's 30 hours, he works 30 hours. There are several things in the works. Do them from the beginning, and therefore it makes sense to go this direction.
You mentioned an hourly fee. Is that schedule in here anywhere?
I don't believe that's in there.
Okay. I'm thinking when we had Brian under the previous contract that we had such a schedule. So maybe that, I don't know whether that's worth considering as an addendum or not, or publishing it.
Well, it is not part of what you've received.
What does that? Oh, it's not part of what you've received, not perceived. Okay. I'm like,
But it is something that we have been discussing.
Okay.
So with them.
Comment I have is, hate to see Adam leave city employment, but we're just, congratulations. And thank you for your service to this community.
Ed gonna cry?
And it's always a
Now,
pleasure to
how
be
is
around you,
the
so, and work
edit
with you. So
fund
thank
gonna
you for
be
all
able
you've
to
done.
sustain this $450,000
Do we second it? We did.
on top of what he's committing to the fire houses?
on
Is
top
it-
of everything else that the edit
On top
does,
of everything else that he's got going on.
edit. Yeah, dude.
I mean, has he not blown his wad completely by now?
I don't understand. I cannot comprehend what goes on with edit. You know what? It's like the edit fund is like that little thing. I wish I could steal the edit fund, similar to like I did that little thing that my grandma used to have that she would squeeze, and every time she'd open it, it had the Hershey's Kiss in it that I thought just had never-ending magic Hershey Kisses that I could eat. That's like the freaking edit fund. Dan just walks to that thing, he squeezes it, he reaches in and he grabs money. I want that.
I want it too, man. It's like a fucking money tree.
Yeah, dude. I can't comprehend it.
You did, yes.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying
Yeah,
aye.
I've got lots of
All
comments and
opposed?
questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, with that, any other? We have fire department here.
Oh, I can't stand the stupid.
Oh, what's the fire department here for? I didn't hear this.
Obviously, with your approval, we purchased a couple new fire engines within the last 6 months, got those in service, and we're looking to, with your approval, donate a 24-year-old fire engine, high miles, high engine hours, to the Muncie Area Career Center for their fire science program.
Okay.
We've got a longstanding partnership with them. We provide instructors, we provide equipment, and the truck they have now, the city donated almost 12 years ago, and it is in need of some major repairs, if it can even be repaired. So the assessment on a used fire truck like this, a twin of this one, sold a few years back for under $5,000 at the auction. So monetarily, we're not going to get any value out of it if we sell it, essentially, but we can get a lot of value out of this through their fire science program. It's been a great recruitment tool for us. With fire department, they will utilize this to teach driver operator training, how to pump. It allows their firefighters to do hands-on training like a real firefighter with hoses under pressure and stuff. So just with your approval, I'd like to donate that piece of equipment to the Career Center.
Great. Well, I mean, what a great opportunity. Okay.
I move approval of the donation of.
I approve.
Having none, meeting adjourned.
Oh, God. So there you go. More icing on the cake. There is no transparency here. There is no transparency there. There is no transparency anywhere. That's just how it is, folks. It's what Dan wants, when Dan wants it, how Dan wants it done. Jam it through. I just tell you, man, it's like a joke. Yes, Adam's contract should have an hourly fee schedule included, approved. It should be pursued, and published. It should be made available. And it should have happened before the 1st of April. It should have happened before this ever happened. But it all happened after the fact because Christopher Bilbrey and Audie started asking questions. And oh shit, now we're in trouble.
Okay, so John Bowen in 2023 was employed as the Indianapolis Consolidated City and had an annual salary of $117,979 as the chief engineer.
Isn't that amazing?
For the city of Indianapolis.
Yeah. The city of Indianapolis, which is a first-class city. Okay, it's the only first-class city in Indiana. All right, that's very important to understand. And so it's that. But then also, Indianapolis has a population of Indianapolis 2024 population is now estimated at 1,903,335. Okay, so Indy's population is 1.9335 compared to Muncie, Indiana's population of 65,053. So, not really even on the scale there. It just blows me away. And it's just what Dan does, I guess it pays to be a friend of Dan's,
Yeah.
I mean,
4 times more than the Indianapolis city
right?
engineer makes. That's almost exactly 4 times more.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. Karen, there was a second there. Yes, ma'am. It was. There was. And as a result, no one was ever allowed to comment again. So, ladies and gentlemen, the icing on the cake, I've shown it to you here, there, and everywhere with the county, with the city. It's going on. It's totally crazy, absolutely nuts, insane, and over the top. Henry County had some meetings today. They had the commissioners meeting. They had the council meeting. The city of Newcastle had a city council meeting last Monday, the night of the eclipse. And while you've heard me talk about Henry County, and you've heard me talk about Madison County and Anderson and Delaware County and Muncie and Winchester and Randolph County, you've never really heard me talk about the city of Newcastle per se, because mostly they had been doing a good job. The city of Newcastle, as of Monday, became a powder keg of chaos and craziness that's going on. And we're going to be talking about that coming up here very, very soon. They had to settle for that guy Leach because Adam Leach was it. They had to settle for that guy because Adam Leach was it. What? I don't get what you're saying. They had to settle for that guy because Adam Leach was at Muncie. Dan's dicking y'all, folks. Absolutely, Jack. Let me know what you're talking about there, Alva. I'm very interested. Also, I announced at the beginning of the show I'm going to start looking into the situation, and that situation is the relationship between the defunct and the embattled former sheriff of Clark County, that Jamie Knowles, and his relationship with the governor of the state of Indiana. I have not been aware of this. Someone brought this to my attention today that Rob Kendall from 93.1 WIBC was actually talking about the relationship between Jamie Knowles and the governor of Indiana. I had not heard about this relationship today. So when we get off of this program, I'm actually going to go back and listen to the Rob Kendall show, the Kendall and Casey show from this morning, and listen to what was talked about and start looking into that, because while it's interesting what's going on in Clark County, and it's always good when a bad guy gets popped and yada, 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 the fact that there might be some kind of connection with what's going on at the state level, that really interests me. So we're going to be taking a look at that, and I'm going to get deep dive into that this weekend. We might have a show Friday night because Catherine is scheduled to come on tomorrow, but I know I want to do a show on Henry County, on what's going on in Newcastle and what happened at the commissioners and council meeting, and I don't want to wait until Sunday. So good possibility we will have a Friday show this week. I will let you guys know. Thank you all. Indianapolis had to settle for someone less qualified for 107. Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Absolutely. Well, and let me be very clear. Adam Leach is a dingbat. And like I said, I know him standing at the podium and doing his job here at the podium here. He just kind of looks like little old Adam, like we know. But like I said it before, I'll say it again. I'll never be able to look at him the same way after I've seen him in power and with the bathrobe on. I'll never be able to look at him the same way. Again, city edit count, allocations, expenditures should be monitored by the mayor, the controller, and the city council. Does the controller maintain a spreadsheet that can be viewed monthly? Oh, yeah, 100%. The controller knows everything that's going on in edit fund. Now, that doesn't matter because he's not going to do anything that the mayor doesn't like. He's never going to overstep and say, whoa, mayor, back up, be careful here. You can't do that.
And then here's the other issue. We've requested those spreadsheets for the edit.
Yeah.
And it was just a complete.
Yeah. It takes forever to get them.
Indecipherable.
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things. Number one, there's supposed to be a report that they print off. You go in and say, hey, I would like a copy of the edit report. And they're supposed to go click and it prints out and they give it to you there. Sarah Beach has talked about this. And I just, want to bring that to, your attention. It's very easy to get. And they have always made it very hard. They've made me wait months and months and months before getting it. And then the time they give it to us, it's not the actual
report.
It's like just a collage of numbers.
Yeah,
and
it was an Excel spreadsheet that just had numbers here, there, it was next to indecipherable.
Yes. As you should, Jack. As you should. Most people watching should.
Oh, dear
That's
God.
why for the longest time I was an audio-only podcast. I don't think so, Stumblefoot. No, I don't think he did. I didn't get that close, but yeah. So, all right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. for episode 177. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in and listening to what we had to say. Hey, before you leave, please do these things over here. See these things? This YouTube, the like, subscribe, the bell, the comment, the share the show. Do all of that. That would help us out. We would truly love it if you did. Thank you all. Thank you all. You guys have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful Thursday. And we will see you back here with an excellent show tomorrow evening. Take care. God bless. Have a good evening. Goodbye. I'll send you a message tomorrow, Jackie.